Good morning. How are you?
Good
Yeah,
morning.
fine. How about you?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll wait for a minute or two. Okay, let's see if
Yeah,
anyone joins the class and then we'll start. Okay.
okay, okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Karthik, sir, I forgot. You're working in which sector?
In Wipro, sir.
Okay,
Hello.
Wipro. Into which sector?
Yeah,
But means into financial part, into the data science, which part? I
I'm
guess
working
.NET you
as
said,
a
right?
DevOps engineer.
Oh yeah,
DevOps.
yeah. I always forget. Yes, DevOps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Wipro based out at Pune.
no, no, Hyderabad.
Okay, Hyderabad location. Okay.
Yeah. I'm from Hyderabad.
All right. Is it okay? Is it work from home?
Yeah, work from home. The timing is evening 5 to night 3 a.m.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a US shift then.
Yes, I have done it at 3 a.m. I have completed my shift. Actually, weekly once
Okay.
I have to
Okay.
go to the office.
Okay. Once a week, to the office.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, let's see. All right. Let's start then. Let's see if anyone comes. Then it's okay. They'll proceed from there. So today, what we will do is that we will download the application that is required for uh, the development of the coding. Okay. So I guess everyone has their own system, the environment that we will require to do the programming. Okay, so you guys have your own system, your own laptop, everyone. So let's download it. So from the Monday, what we can do is that we'll start with the programming.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I already done my Jupyter notebook. I already downloaded it and day before yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And PyCharm and Anaconda, did you download?
No, I didn't download that.
Okay.
Is that
So
required?
Sai Kiran sir and
PyCharm
Vishnu sir, do you have you? It's not that compulsory. You can program on any of the
any
environment.
of the
But still,
idea?
what best practice? Uh, but what best practice is that you always try to have a hands-on experience on a different environment because we never know which company might require which environment, right? So sometimes they
Okay.
might go with the Jupyter, sometimes they might go with the Spider. So what can we do is that, right? I'm not saying in the classroom we are going to use the Google Colab. Why? Because it's going to be on the cloud. So your data will be saved on the cloud. So as I said yesterday, so you can fetch the information from any place and any electronic gadget. Even you can fetch the information through the mobile as well. So even if you're traveling, you're whenever you can fetch it, even if you don't have your system. But what happens is that Jupyter is there, or PyCharm is there, or Visual Studio is there, that are local available locally on your system, right? So that is the big issue. But still, you need to keep on practicing every single thing, the same thing on a different environment. What happens is that you get used to the environment, so you get used to the platform because every environment is different, right? When you code on a Jupyter, it's different. When you code on PyCharm, it's different. When you code on Visual Studio, it's different. Just because
Yes, sir.
you never know, because well begin is half done. So if you keep on practicing, so unless and until you complete your course and you start hunting for the job, when you get into the job, so they might ask you which environment you do code. So they might say Jupyter, and they might say, okay, we are working on Visual Studio. Have you had any experience of Visual Studio? Visual Studio. So there, just because we didn't use the platform, right? It's just a platform to code. There is nothing uh, rocket science. We are not putting any logic over there. Just because we never tried to code on it, we cannot say we never tried on Visual Studio. So that creates a doubt on the in the mind of interviewer. Okay, but okay, they would say, okay, sorry, sir, we are looking for someone who is able to code on Visual Studio. This is a stupid thing that they might say, sorry, just because I didn't use Visual Studio, that is what you cannot no just remove me from, or you cannot select me from the interviews. If I'm capable to put a logic, I'm able to help you in your company. You should select on me on the talent basis, but you never know, right? Fortune always favors the bravest, but sometimes it's not your day. Just because for that reason, I always suggest to the people in your spare time, you always try to code in a different environment. Do the same coding. I'm not saying that do not try X question on Jupyter, Y question on PyCharm, Z question on Colab. You try the same ABC, but on a different environment. Just because you get need to get used to it. Even if you try once in a week on different platform, that is also okay. But you need to have a hands-on experience because we are not running the company. People who are running the company, we never know what they might come up with. Okay,
Okay,
all right.
okay.
So I guess
Yeah.
everyone, okay. Apart from Karthik sir, do everyone like Vishnu sir, Sai Kiran sir, do you guys have your own? Did you download the softwares that is required for the programming? Okay. So what we'll do is that for Colab, I'll share my screen. So what we are going to do is that first we'll register ourselves on Colab. I'll share you how to do. So what you need to do is that you just need to go to the Colab. Okay. See here, as I did. So go to Colab. Okay. My it's already saved in the cookies and the history. So what you need to type in is collab. So what happens is that when you type on the collab, see this is the file that is already there in my system. So you look at it, right sir. There's my email ID, right? That is why it always fetches my information. So what you need to do is that you need to go to the collab, and once you go to the collab, the home page appears on your screen. If you are going it for the first time, a home page appears on a screen. So for the betterment, I will show it to you how Google. In Google Colab. See, this is how it appears, right? So what you need to do is that it's a CEO symbol. The icon is CEO, but it looks like an infinity symbol with an orange color. So you just need to click on the symbol, infinity symbol, and then the home page of the Colab appears. So here you need to just go click on new notebook. New notebook, and as soon as you click on the new notebook, it takes you to the first page of the Google Colab. It's like a book, and in the book it's like a sheet, right? We talk in the Excel format. There's a workbook and there's the Excel sheet. So this is how it appears. Now see, why did it log in? It did log in directly to the sheet because my email ID is already linked with it. It's already synchronized. So what you just need to do is that you need to synchronize your email ID. Synchronize your that email ID, log in with that email ID which you want to use for the programming purpose. It should be stored on that particular drive. Okay. So I want you to go to the Google Colab. As I said, go to Google, type on Colab this way. Go to Google and type on Colab. And this symbol. So look at the second symbol. Do not look at the Google symbol icon. Look at the icon session. It's a CEO actually, but it looks like it looks more like an infinity. So once everyone is done, you just let me know.
Done
We'll
from
download
my
all
side.
the applications. Hello.
Uh, I did my I have done from my side.
Okay, okay. So you are
Okay,
able to see this way, the way I'm
yes,
able to see this way. Let
yes,
me
yes,
show.
yes, yes.
It should look like this way.
Yeah,
And
I
this is a
got
new
this one.
sheet. It should look this way.
Yes.
Okay. And your email ID is able to see you are able to see your email ID on the right side,
Yeah, yeah,
just like I am
even
able
my
to see mine.
email ID
Okay,
and the
then
same
it's okay. All right. What?
what is in this screen, I got the same picture here also.
Okay, then that's good. Okay. What about the rest, Vishnu sir and Sai Kiran sir? Did you guys download? Need to download, okay? And then there are two more applications. So when you type on Anaconda and download, save. Now you get this on the first option. Free download, Anaconda. Click on it, click on it. So it'll take you to this part. Anaconda, distribution, free download. And then you need to click on save. It's there. So Jupyter is there in it, Spider is there. Spider is also sometimes used for the encoding purpose. Whichever is your operating system. Is it Python? Is it Mac? Or is it Linux? And download on that basis. So if it's a Windows, then download this part. If it's MacBook, download this part. If it's Linux, download this part. Depending upon which operating system you are using. Mine is Windows, so I have already downloaded. So I'll not download again. So just click on download. Go to Anaconda. I'll repeat my words again and again. Go to Anaconda and then click on download depending upon your operating system, which operating system you have. Okay, scroll it down, either you scroll it down or at the top you will be able to see if it's not at the top, it's okay. Scroll it down, at the down you can able to see. Okay, free download. See here the free download option. It's written over here. If you look at this part you can able to see that it's written thousand of most fundamental data science artificial intelligence machine learning package. It's one of the good softwares to program. It provides a lot of things. The matplot is there, TensorFlow is there, NumPy is there, Panda is there. See, NumPy and Panda, those are used for the scaling. Jupyter and Spider is there. That is an environment. TensorFlow is there. That is just PyTorch is there. TensorFlow is by Google and PyTorch is by Facebook. These are the libraries that are required for the machine learning purpose. And if you go to the Google, type Anaconda. You can directly type Anaconda download or you can type an Anaconda. You go to its official website. This is how it looks like. It's a circle symbol, okay, with a green color. You go to the right hand side, there's an option called as free download and download it. Vishnu sir and Saikiran sir, are you able to hear me? Let me know because I
Yes.
can just hear Karthik sir. Okay. So did you download Colab sir?
Like my system is hanging as of now, so I'm noting down the steps. I'll install it in later afternoon.
Okay, sure. We
Yeah,
are going to program on the Colab, but as I said, once again, I repeat, why we need to have this all the software installed on our system. The reason is that the company, the different company, like suppose you apply for Wipro, they might ask you that, okay, we perform our operating or coding on Visual Studio. So you need to have a little bit of hands-on experience on Visual Studio. But if you go to Infosys, they might say, okay, we are working on PyCharm community. We need to know that, okay, I have developed the coding on the PyCharm community because I say at the end, there's only one opportunity for you in that those companies, right? We never know why they might not select us. So we should not just let go the job or the opportunity just because we didn't work on that environment. This environment will not matter. Just to be need to have an idea that how it work, performs.
sure. Yeah.
Yes. And there is this PyCharms called by JetBrains. JetBrains. See, when you want to download PyCharm, go to PyCharm and make sure that the website is JetBrains. because PyCharm is also an environment and which is developed by and designed by JetBrains. Hey, look at here on my search bar. JetBrains. Yes. So you can download this as well. Make sure you're downloading the PyCharm by JetBrains. Once again, I'll show it how. Go to Google, type in PyCharm. So you'll see a lot of options. You can click on any of the options. So first option will always be directly look at it. JetBrains PyCharm download. Click on it and it will take you to the download option and just click on it and download exe.exe. .exe. And at the top, if you are using Windows, you will download it for Windows. If it's Mac OS, download Mac OS. If it's Linux, download these part. Sai Kiran sir, did you download the environment? Did you download the software that we are going to require for the programming? Okay. Yes, everyone has done the download. Karthik sir, Vishnu sir is saying that his system is not working. Sai Kiran sir, did you download? Did you understand what like, environment we are use? Okay, all right. So let me share the screen once again. See how we are going to start, how we are going to start our tour at the beginning. So I just want to know, Karthik sir, did you ever try to do a programming on the Python language? Which programming language do you know? Because
Actually,
see, every language
I
is
know
considered human.
I know basics of Python.
Yes, sir, tell me.
Yeah, I know basics of
Oh, you know
Python.
the basics of Python.
Yeah, because of I have
Huh.
scripting. I need a scripting for DevOps. So at that time, so I need
Yes, sir.
learn basics. Yeah, not advanced and deep level
Right, right, right.
coding. Yes,
Okay. Now, yes, DevOps has a little bit of influence of Python language. Right. Okay,
yes,
Vishnu
yes.
sir, which
Yes.
programming? Apart, yeah, okay, okay. Apart from Python, do you know which any of the other programming language like C++,
No,
Java?
no, no, I don't
Okay,
know.
perfect. Okay, okay. So, Vishnu sir, do you know any of the programming language? Python, if you know, that's okay.
No,
If you don't know Python,
no,
any other
no.
language?
I don't know any of the programming language. Because I
Okay,
come
okay.
from
You work
finance
in,
background.
okay, you come from the finance background. Okay, not a problem then.
Mm.
Okay, so Kiran sir, any idea on the programming language? Okay, all right, then let's start. So let me present you how we going to have this part. Okay, so see, first what we are going
Java.
to do is that no matter Java. Okay, Java. So first, we require is a Python programming, right? Python program installation. So what I told you is that if you guys have downloaded the part, and it's a good thing if you have not downloaded, so well download it again. So what you want to do, me to do, if you want me to do, help you out. I can help you with the setup and the software installation. If you don't want me to help with the software installation, as I just told you that what you need to do is that it's the same basic thing. When we were in the school days, what we used to do is that we used to download a software. What we need used to do is that just click on next, next, next. Click on the some certain check boxes that are there and click on next. It's the same thing. You don't have to apply any logic to download the software and install the software. You just need to click on the next, 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 next. If it's okay, if you get stuck somewhere, you just let me know. If not, the best is that we are going to use the collab. But I suggest once again, I'll not repeat the word again and again. Please make sure that you keep on practicing it on the different environments whenever you get the time. Okay, so what we are going to do is that we are going to start first is the data types in the Python. So what are the data types? See, because what we are going to do is that whenever you try to write a programming, right? We are going to do a programming. It's like when you travel from any place. Now, suppose you're at your home and you want to travel to office. So what you do is that you carry your laptop, your system, right? How do you carry? You carry it in your bag, in your system, right? Your laptop. And if you take your tiffin, how do you carry your tiffin in your tiffin box? Same way, when you're going to learn a Python, you need to have its boxes. You need to have a container. Whatever you're programming you're going to do, it should be crafted in a particular data, right? So when you're trying to have a calculation, you need to have a numeric data, right? You cannot have the two text to add, or it doesn't do the multiplication, or it doesn't do the subtraction. So you need to learn that those data types. So what are the data types available? We are going to learn that first thing at the beginning of the Python language. Second is that when you will learn the data types, what are data types are just like formats. So those are the formats. What for kind of a format? For example, if I want to relate it to the real world, so when you click a picture, right? When you click a picture, so there are different types of format. So there is a JPG format, there is a PNG format, right? So there is a GIF format. So what GIF format does is that it is like a small video. It's like a video. JPG is a different format. PNG is like we can remove the background. So these are like a different formats that are available in the photographs. So in the same way in the Python also there are different kinds of data types. Data types are nothing but like a format which you're talking about in relation to the photograph. Then once we are done with the data types, and we'll have the operations. That what kind of an operation? Like there are basic operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication. Those are basic operation, and just not just basic operation. There are different operations in it as well. Like and operator, or operator, or if, or else, if not. So those are those different operators that we are going to use. So once we are done with this part, what we are going to do is that we are going to start with the type of statements. So you look at the syllabus, you can see that there are statements called if, elif, and else statements. So when you used to learn the first programming language everyone has learned is the if C language, right? So in the C language, there is a if else. So it's the same kind of a thing that we are going to learn over here. Those are called as a loops. Loops means what? Now, suppose if I want to start somewhere, I don't want to end it anywhere, right? I want to keep on rotating, like the same, like when we're talking about the Earth. What Earth does is that it keeps on revolving around its own axis, right? What it does, it keeps on revolving around its own axis without stopping, unstoppable. So it's the same thing if you want to perform certain operation and where you don't want to put a full stop. You want to keep on rotating again and again till the last thing. So you're going to use this loops. So that is what we are going to learn different loops. Then functions, method, exception handling, like this is what exception handling is nothing but it's like handling the try and catch part. Try and catch part means like you need to handle the errors in a proper way. This comes under the exception handling. And then it comes to the advanced part where we are going to learn oops and advanced Python. Okay, so without wasting much of the time, what we'll do is that today we'll start with the basic programming and we will write a single line of a code. So first thing, how do we write the program? So I want everyone, I hope, even if you're no, if you have not installed it onto your system, still you can go it on the Colab. So first, what we'll do is that we'll write coding. So if this is a blank new sheet, so what you do is that if I want to change the name of it, so here if you look at untitled part. So I'll just delete this part and I'll write here Python sheet. Python class. Okay, I'll just click on OK. So now what happened is that in the Colab file, this will save as this sheet will be saved as Python class. Got it? So, look at it. So if I want to check the files, whatever the files that are available, so I'll click on this file and I'll go to open notebook. So if I go to this open notebook, see, look at this file. So this all files are there on my Google Drive. So it's always saved on the cloud. See, whenever I require any of the file, I can just click on it. I can fetch on it. So suppose if I click on this untitled, right? This is one of the Google Colab file I've saved. So I'll just click on it. See, now what will happen is that it will patch that particular sheet, and it will present it to me. So this way. Got it? So if I want to open the new notebook, so I'll click on new notebook. That will open me a blank sheet of Google Colab, just like we previously had. So therefore, so you can do it. Even if you are not able to see, just make sure that whenever you're trying to log out, you make sure that here it shows. So suppose now I click on here and I click on something, right? I'll show it over here. Just do it. I'll show it the existing file. Um, what is that? Okay, Python classes. See this one. So when you are trying to save, it should always show you an option. Look at here. Last saved at 8:25 a.m. Right now, the time is be 8:25 p.m. a.m. So that is what it's showing me 8:25 a.m. So what happens is that sometimes there's a no your internet is disconnected or something. There is a glitch. Your system is not performing well. So it might not save. It might not get saved. So make sure that always when you're trying to no click on this cross button when you want to close the system or you want to close the browser. Make sure that you are able to see last save. If not, what you need to do is that click on this part, save a copy in drive, or you can just save as it is. You can click on the save here, control plus the shortcut key. If not, go to the file and click on save. So what happens is that your file gets saved. Now you're trying to put some human efforts to save it. So you get a notification saying saved successfully. Make sure before you close your browser, close your laptop or system, you make sure that it's all saved. Why? If it's not saved, then it is not going to appear on your screen. So make sure it's saved on your system all the time. Okay, so let's write the first line of our code. So function we are going to use is a print function. What you are going to use is a print function. So how do we write by this print hello world. Hello, world. This is the first line of the code. See, in the Google Colab, everything is going to happen in a cells. This is a one particular cell, and there's option of a play. When I click on a play, so what does is that it collects. See, if you look on the right hand side, look at the right hand side of my screen. See, look at this part. So now it is showing, it is connecting. What it is doing is that now this is an interpreter, it is trying to connect with my kernel. It is trying to connect with my kernel to the operation. And now see when I click on the fly, see it is generating me an output. This is a console screen where you get an output. It is called as a console screen. Okay. See, I clicked on I have written a print hello world. The best thing of this Python language is that the way you speak English, it's the same way you need to do a code. Got it? So look at the first. Let me explain you this part. So Python is an interpreter language. What is I'm saying is that Python is an interpreter language, like C, Java as a compiler language. So what does it mean? What is meant by interpreter language, and what is meant by compiler language? So when I've written a code, let me write it over code. So this one code, let me copy it over here. Let me write it over here. So now, see, this is in a cell. In the Google Colab, everything will be appear in a cell. Either you can click here and press enter and write the next code, or else if I want to write it in the new cell, what I'm saying, if I want to write in a new cell, you can find over here two options called as code and text. Code and text. Text is nothing but the command you want to write. What is text? Text is the command you want to write, and code means that the actual coding you want to write. So click on coding and press over here. So I'm trying to explain you what is the interpreter language. Okay, so the part, let me just print this part and I'll show you. So as I click on click button, so it generates an output. Interpreter language means what? It right reads right. See, first thing is what? What is meant by interpreter? If you look at the literal meaning, interpreter means a mediator. Now, suppose I have been to Spain, right? Now in Spain, people speak Spanish, right? Spaniel, that is the right, native language of the Spanish people. So now, if I don't know Spanish, right, and those people don't know English, so what I'll do is that I hire a translator to make the things communicate between them and me, like to and fro. To have the communication to and fro between me and them, what I'll do is that I'll hire a translator. And what is the job role of a translator? To translate the things what I'm saying to them into their own language, and whatever they are trying to ask me, translate their own language into English language. That is the job role of the translator. So that is the same thing. When I'm trying to quote something, this is what I'm trying to write in English, right? This is what I'm trying to write in English. But everyone knows, right? We are all working, so we know that since our childhood, computer understand only binary language. It understand only the language in zero and one, right? Computer understand the language in zero and one. So what I need to do is that when I try to run a code, like here, when I click on play button, so as soon as I click on play button, what it happens is that it goes to the back end of this environment, right? It goes to the back end of environment. See, it goes and connected to this RAM and disk. See, this is what shows on the right hand side. It is connected to RAM and disk. So it is means what it is going to connect with processor. It is connecting with the computer, right? In simpler words, I'll not talk in the technical terms, I'm talking in simpler words. It is connecting with the computer. When it's connecting with the computer to generate an output, what computer understands is what? Binary language. That is zero and one. This English language, this is a human readable form. This human readable form should be converted into the machine readable form. That is zero and one. And that is the job role of this Python. This is the job role of this environment. This is the job role of environment. Now here environment I'm using is a Colab. So what Colab does is that, so as I read this hello world in English language, right? So what it does is that it converts. So I'll show you over here. This with the help of Python, with the help of Python, it converts this English written human readable form, that is print hello world, into into 01, 0101, and it understand what is this meaning. So it understand, okay, this is trying to say hello world. This is what? Hello world. So this understand, okay, this is a computer, this is converted into computer language now. Okay. Processing is very fast. Imagine within 1 second or 0 seconds, it's trying to print every single thing. It depends upon your processor. At then it depends upon your processor. So my processor is very good, so that is why it is able to perform very quickly. And also my internet is connected. It has a very good connection. So if as soon as I click on this click button, it generates an output. See, executed in, see, it's showing executed in 0.449 seconds. And if you have a very good processor, that is why I showed you over here. So when I was talking about this collab, mhm, let me show you Anaconda. So look at this Anaconda, and you see the option called as TensorFlow and PyTorch. What is this? TensorFlow and PyTorch. TensorFlow and PyTorch are nothing but a good processor, a very good processor. NVIDIA till now was considered as the one of the good processors because that the performance of a NVIDIA. Everyone has heard about the company called NVIDIA. Those are mostly into the graphics, right? So they create a good processor. I would say it's one of the best processor I have seen in the world. Their performance is very good. Imagine now you're working on Facebook, you're sitting on Facebook or you're sitting on Insta, and if you're trying to scroll something, and after scrolling, it takes 2 seconds, 5 seconds. How frustrated you would become that if you're trying to click on any video, if you're trying to open any images or a picture over there, and it is trying to take a lot of time to download. Not from your side, if you're having a very good internet connection, but from their side, it's not able to process it in a proper way. Synchronization. So definitely, the performance is going to go down, and you're not going to come back to the Instagram. You'll come for once, you'll come for twice, but you'll not come a third time on the Instagram. Reason? Because you would say the processing of that application is very slow. Because whenever I try to scroll it up and down, it always gets stuck somewhere. That is what is required. What required is the processing unit, how quickly it can process. If you're not having that processing processor, the people expect then you are not going to be in the market. So that is what Google is providing the sensor flow processor, and PyTorch is by Meta, that is Facebook. But for us, it's going to be a local system only. Our programming is not that level. We are not going to do a 10,000 or 50,000 coding. So we need a TensorFlow, PyTorch, we need a NVIDIA processor. Our coding is sufficient. Even company has their own server where you have your own processors. Okay. What was I? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what it does is that it converts into the computer language. Now computer understand. Okay, this is in hello world. And again, when it can understand, so it generates. Now when you want to print it onto the console screen, so again what computer does is that it sends back to the Python language. Okay, this is a hello world. I got it. So it again sends to Python into the 01 format, and again Python converts it into the hello world. It generates in a hello world. This is how it understands. And if it is not able to convert this, if it's not able to convert into binary format, no, so far I'll show you here, right? One over here and see. Comment this part. Okay. And now see. Now let me run it. Now it is already showing me an error. See that is provided. Not just humans are smart, even the machines are smart nowadays. See, it already has shown me an error. But before I could run, it has already shown me an error by underline within underline of the red mark. So if you look at this part, what happened is that when I tried to write a code, it was not able to convert into the computer language. That is what it was not able to convert into the binary language. And that is why it has shown me an error. So you make sure that Python is what is the mediator. Just like when I'm trying to speak to the people in Spanish, to the Spanish people, I'm not able to speak in Spanish. What I did is that I am trying to speak it to the mediator to make them understand. And those people who are from Spain, they are also using the use of making the use of those same translator with, and they are speaking to them to him with in Spanish language, and that guy is trying to translate me back in English. So it's the same thing. So Python, what it does is that it is trying to convert this whatever the human readable code, whatever you are trying to write, into this machine language, and again it is doing the same thing. That when it once the computer generates an output, it is again trying to convert me into the human readable form. So just like this, what this is an output, this is an input, and this is an output. Okay. See. Now it is again converted back. This is what human did. Imagine instead of hello world, if instead of hello world, the output was like something 1 0 1 0 0 1 0 1 0. You tell me, will you be able to understand what is the meaning of this? Tell me, will you be able to tell me that what is the meaning of this? Instead of hello world, instead of hello world, your system generated an output of in such a form. Can you just tell me what does it stands for? No. See, I will not be able to tell you, right? For few of the hexadecimal, for one of the binary code, I can tell you. But if I am trying to write 1,000 lines of code, and every line of a code is trying to generate me and execute in such a form in binary in 0 and 1 form, will I be able to understand what exactly I'm trying to create an output? No, because we are not that. Our human language is different. We speak in English, we speak in Hindi, we speak in Marathi, we speak in Telugu, we speak in Tamil. That is what we are able to communicate through this language. If we are able to communicate in through this language, so this will not be able to, our human brain will not understand. This is like an encryption and decryption, right? So what happens is that this Python is trying to decrypt it into computer language, and again Python, when it generates an output on this console screen, again it is trying to decrypt back into the human readable form, right? Yes or no? You getting my point? Are we on the same page? I hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to say. Are you getting it? What I'm trying to tell you? What is an interpreter? See, haven't reached the compiler part. I am just talking about the interpreter language. So did you understand what is the role of interpreter? Yes or no? Yes?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. I hope everyone is on the same page. If you're not able to understand, please unmute yourself and let me know. You didn't understand this part. I'll explain you 100 times. It is not a problem. But we always need to be on the same page. So it's the same thing. So now what Python does is that why people are so much in love with the Python language. Now I'm trying to learn a code, right? And here there is an error, right? There is an error, right? So I run this code again. Let me just remove this part. Now I run this code. What happens is that so it found a code on the fourth line. See, as soon as I found an error, so it is a syntax error. Okay, we need to remember what kind of an error it is. It's a syntax error because I have written a single code. At the beginning, I have used the double code. I'll explain you later on, but I'm trying to make you acquainted with the Python language. So it has shown me that there is an error at the line four. Line four. So it has shown me. Now I'm trying to explain you this C and Java, right? You guys, right? We have one more, one person who's into the Java, so he also knows. So what happens is that when you use this other language apart from Python, what happens is that when you write a code, what when you write a code in a other language, there's a compiler. What compiler does is that it compiles the entire block of statements. What it does is that it runs the entire block of code. Now there's an error at fourth line, right? It should stop at that point. But what happens is that when you write a code in other languages, traditional languages, what happens is that it runs the entire line of a code. What happens is that it runs the entire line of a code, and then at the end it will show there is an error. What it does is that it shows that there is an error. So now, now suppose if you are writing a code which is a file like 5,000 or suppose 1,000, right? So definitely when you click on play button, it is going to connect with your kernel, right? It is going to connect with the processor, and depending upon your processor speed, it is going to create an output, right? That is what you are required, the end results. Now, if you're, it's going to take 10 minutes. It will see every processing depends upon your line of code, how much line of code you're writing. It is going to consume more line. It is going to consume the time, and also depending upon the processor speed. Now it takes 10 minutes, right? It is taking your 10 minutes. So after you're spending of 10 minutes, your output, your coding is saying that the same thing, this thing, that there is an error. If you look at the error is very minimal just because instead of double quote, you have used a single quote. See, this is a very minor mistake. And it can happen. See, we humans can make mistakes. Just because instead of double quote, I used a single quote. For that entire thing, that computer has utilized my 10 minutes. And everything, see, when you're trying to write a code, you are going to make 100 mistakes. Even today as also when I'm trying to do some software development, I make mistakes because we are humans, we make mistakes, we are not flawless. But imagine if you're going to have spent every single code you're going to spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So that is going to be a very frustrating and that is going to be a very challenging thing. And that is what to make this all the things easy, Python has removed this part, that it also compiles. The only the thing is that there's a change in the word. Python they call as an interpreter, and the C, Java, C sharp they call as an compiler language. Meaning is the same. What is the meaning of interpreter? To be a mediator. What is the meaning of compiler? Compile. That is what encryption and decryption. Convert the human readable form into the computer form. And again, decrypt back from computer language to an readable form in the output screen. That is the same thing. Meaning has not been changed. Meaning of the interpreter and meaning of compiler is the same. Convert the input into an output form. But only thing is that what Python has done is that it runs line by line, line by line. If it is able to generate an error on the first line only, it will not go for the next remaining line of a code. No matter you have written thousand line of a code, and those thousand line of a code are exactly correct, still it will not go to those line of code. What it in short means that it is trying to save your time, and save in time saves life. So if it's going to create an output, it is going to show you immediately on the first line. It is going to show you an error. So it is imagine how much time it is going to save. So instead of spending the 10 minutes of time just for your first line of error, it's better to use such a line of a code where you can save your time. You do programming in this language or you do in other programming language. Hello world, print hello world. The only the thing is that the syntax will be different. But hello world in C will be the same, C++ will be the same, Python will be the same, R will be the same. Hello world in English will be hello world. Only the syntax will change according to the programming language you choose. But at the end also, what will matter is the time that is required in one all the languages. If Python is going to create an output in 1 second, why should I spend the time on the programming language which takes 10 minutes? That is what. It's very convenient. It is time saving. It's not time consuming. Clear? That is the difference between the Python and the other language, that it reads the line code line by line, and whenever it finds the error, it stops there. No matter after that, if all the line of the code are still correct, it will not proceed ahead. It will say you correct this error, and then only you run it again, and then I'll proceed. If else, I'll not proceed. That is the best part. Got it? So what is the difference between a Python and the other language? So it reads the code line by line. And if you found any error, so it will stop there. It will not proceed ahead. So it will just to stop its performance over there, and it will just throw an error, and it will say you need to clear that error, and then only I'll proceed with the next part. Is it clear to everyone? Yes,
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
yes,
yes.
yes. Now I was talking about this part of the starting part, that double quote. See, whatever you're trying to write, and this format. See, when you start coding, there's a library. When you try to, everyone here, I hope everyone knows how to ride a bike and how to drive a car, right? So when you go to make your license, right? When you go and want to make your own license of driving, right? Of riding a bike or driving a car. So what you do is that you give a driving test, right? There's an RT officer who would have a check on you, that okay, he'll ask you to put on the brakes, he'll try to ask you to change the gears, and he'll try to different parameters before he could no, he could give you the license. So it's the same thing. Now what happens is that when you're on road, right? You're driving your car. So when you come at the signal and you see the red signal, so what you do at that point when you see that the signal is red, what you do when you're driving a car, when you come across a signal, right? And you see there is a red light in the signal, what you do? You stop there. Right. You put a brake, you stop there. When you see a green signal, what you do is that you start for your journey. When you see an yellow signal, that means what? It's going to be a red signal. So that is what is giving to you a sign that you need to stop here because it's going to be a red signal very soon. But what I'm trying to do is tell you is that what I'm trying to convey is that. So depending upon the signal, what you do is that perform your actions, right? If you see a red signal, you stop there. If you see a green signal, you proceed. If you see a yellow signal, you slow down your speed because there is going to be a red light very soon. This is all the set of rules, right? This is all set of the rules for the driving part. Same way when you go for the license as well, you do the things according to the officer says, right? These are all the set of the rules. If you want to head right, what you do is that you turn on your right indicator. If not, what you do is that you take your right hand out, and you just try to show to the people who are coming from the back that okay, I'm going to take a right turn. You want to move left, what you do is that you turn on the left indicator. So these are all the set of the rules that you follow when you're on the road. Yes or no? The same way when you're trying to do coding in the programming, you need to follow the set of rules. And those set of the rules that are available is called as a PEP 8. What is called as? It is called as a PEP 8. So whenever you're trying to code the program in your into Python, you should also follow the some set of the rules. You cannot just write the code in any way and you expect output. It will never be the same. You have to follow the same instruction when you're on the road while driving a car or you're riding a bike. So if you want to go right, you have to turn on the indicators on the right side, or you need to take a right hand. If you're going on the left side, you need to turn on the left indicator. If you see a red signal, you need to stop. You need see a green signal, you need to start. So it's the same thing. That is what the set of the rules that are made for the roadways. Same in the Python as well. When you are trying to program, you need to follow their guidelines to write a program. So that is available under this pad. So if you go for an interview, you might come across a question. Yes. Yeah, tell me. Anyone is saying anything? Okay. So when you go out there, right, to do a Python coding, so you might come across, you need to follow the guidelines. And those all the guidelines is available under the PEP 8. So PEP 8 is the name of the guideline book where you find all the instructions that you need to follow while writing a code. So look at this part. This is an index that is for the context. This is an index. On in index you find every single thing. Now look at this comment. When I click on the comment, so it tells that how do you write a comment? What is the comment? So you should use one or two spaces after sentence endings in the sentence. What is it? Block comment, inline comment. See, this is what for the single line comment. You use an hashtag for a single line comment. This is all there, all available there. So whatever you want to do, the naming conventions. So when you are going to define a name, right? Define a name. So how should you be descriptive, right? Naming style. So it should be a single lowercase letter. It should be an upper letter, lowercase, lowercase with the underscore. I'm going to tell you when you are going to do a real programming, you are able to understand. Just to make you understand that when you are in your spare time, in your free time, you can just come to this Puppet book. What is this Puppet book? It's a guideline. It's a set of guidelines that is used to write the programming code. So whenever we are going to do the coding in the Python, you should follow the guidelines because if you are going to go out of the box, this Python, how it is showing an error over here, it's the same thing, it's going to throw an error. Why? Because you're not trying to drive the car according to the rule of driving. You getting my point? The same way, when you're trying to do the coding into Python, you have to follow their guidelines. If you're not trying to follow their guidelines, then and then it is going to show this thing that is called as an error into our language. But getting my point. So what is peptide? This can be asked in the interview as well. So do you know what is peptide? Peptide is a guideline that is used for the Python programming. And this Python language, right? This Python language was developed by a Dutch person. His name was Guido van Rossum. He was a Dutch person from the Netherlands. He was the one who has written this programming language of Python, and it was earlier there. It was already there in the 1980s and 1990s, but it was not that popular. Why? Because already .NET or C Sharp, Java had already occupied the market. It has already was in the market, and that was a very popular language. C was there, C++ was there, and Python was also there, but it was not in that. Oh no, say what you say with that hype, or you can say it was not that popular in those days. So this who was the developer of this programming language of Python is a Guido van Rossum, and this person is a Dutch person. He's from the Netherlands. So he was the one who has done written this programming language. Got it? Clear? So was done, and it was not popular. But what happened? See now technology has emerged in every single sector. Now, if you look at the Vishnu sir, he is from background of finance, right? And we look at I'm from the science background, from the computer background. So if I want to build a software, right? So I know I can build it. Why? Because I'm already from the computer background. Someone like a person like Vishnu sir, who is from the different background. Now he wants to get into the computer industry. So if I ask him to do a coding, right? So what he needs to do is that see he you should create an interest into it. You should be able to write a code within few days, right? So same what happened is that when people used to write the code into different particular language, like suppose they were the scientists, they wanted to build software, or they were from the pharmaceutical background, they're from the banking sector. What they used to do is that they didn't have that educational background. Right, they were always into plus and minus. They were always into the addition, minus, subtraction, multiplication of how to add 1 plus 1, how to subtract 2 minus 1. So they were all from those sectors. So they were not able to do a programming. So just right, if they are able to have a basic knowledge how to build a software, how to do a programming, so they try to different language. Now even nowadays, now data science has emerged into every sector. It has not been restricted into just a software industry, but it has grown in all the sector. Even if you go to the insurance sector as well, robots are there, artificial intelligence is there. If you go to any sector, you go to automobile, right? The cars, artificial intelligence is there, neuroscience is there. Every single thing is that has emerged. That is called the data science. So if the people, right, who are from the mechanical background, who are from the banking background, financial background, they their education background is different. So they it will take time. And if they're working professional, if they're working on some thesis, on some projects, so apart from those daily routine, they have to take a time to learn a programming language. And that was very time consuming. Just to make that, quickly they can code and they can just create an output, whatever they were required. So Python, when they started doing an R&D, it's always an R&D. As I said, Python was already there in 1980s, 1990. It was already there. But the problem was that it was not that popular. People were not that aware about the programming language. Why? Because already some of the programming language had acquired the market. And then when the people started doing an R&D, and then they came to know that, okay, if I can learn the programming language of Python, it is very easy. It is very easy to code. And then the evolution of Python came into the existence since past 10 years. Before 2020, it was not that popular. If you ask people in earlier days, which programming, if you look at people who are into the science industry since 15 years or 20 years, you would see the people are into unorthodox programming because that was the very popular language. Now, if you ask the next generation that which programming language you are, they would definitely say they are into the Python. And nowadays, 60% of the companies, whatever, even if it's a website building, if it's a software building, if it's anything, those use the 60% programming language is Python. And it's a huge demand. If you're into the Python, there is a good opportunity to get a job. And if you're already working, there's a good chance you're going to get a hike. Sorry, not a hype. You're going to get a hike into your career industry because this is a need of an hour. Now you always need to go with the market. What is happening in the market? Either you should not live in the past. It's a good what was there in the past, but you should always not live in the future. Okay, is it going to be in the future? We just set an alarm clock with the hope that we're going to wake up the next day. But we also don't know either we are going to wake up the next day or not. Just it's because we are having a hope. In a hope, we are trying to set an alarm. But no one knows what is going to happen tomorrow. Just believe what is there in the present. In today's world, at least till 2030, data science is going to be there. Next, what is going to be there? Let's see after 2030, not after 2030. We are talking about 2023 only still. Okay, it's clear. So rapid is the instruction that you need to go. But how do you do a programming code? Clear, everyone? Still here? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I hope so.
Yeah.
You're able to understand that whatever I'm trying to say. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I joined a
Okay,
little
Salman
late
sir,
for some engagement.
yeah, yeah, you were a bit late. Oh, at the beginning, I told everyone is that we were trying to download the environment, the software that we are going to require for the coding purpose. So what you need to do is that you just go to this Google Colab. Okay, go to Google, go to Google and type on Colab. So this is the environment that we are going to use, Colab. And see, you come to the second option, which is in orange. The icon is in orange, which is written as CO. It more looks like an infinity symbol. And you just click on this Google Colab, and it takes you to navigate you to the home page and click on new notebook. For this, you would require your email ID. So whatever email ID you're using, because this Colab always saves this all the information on the cloud and your directory. As I said yesterday, you can fetch this information from any of your electronic device. So this is what I was just trying to explain at the beginning when you were not there. So when you came, I guess from there we started already. Okay, so just I'm trying to explain the environment what we are going to use. Just I was trying to give an overview. I written one or two code just to tell you that what is Python and what is difference between Python and C++. The best thing is that why we use Python, you will get to know that what is indentation, how do you write. It's the same the way we speak our native language. You speak Hindi, you speak English, you speak Marathi, Telugu, Tamil, Urdu, Malayalam. No matter which language you speak, Python is just like speaking in the native language, and it has removed a lot of things. Like if you look at the other languages, you need to use the braces, you need to use the semicolon for the termination of sentence. There are a lot of complications, but in the Python, you don't have to use anything. You just write the same sentences. When it's done, click on enter. When it's done, click on enter. It's the same thing. It's like not typewriter job. Only the thing is that you need to imply the logic, nothing else. So if it's just about implying the logic, so why can't I use this programming language Python, where I don't have to look for the semicolons, I don't have to look for the single semicolons, or I don't have to look for the inverted commas, I have to look for the curly braces. Because I was earlier working on the .NET, I tell you, I had spent my a lot of time just to remove the curly braces, just to add just the indentation. So sometimes I used to get very frustrated. I used to bang the system that I am writing a huge line of code. Just this curly braces and this semicolons are eating my time. They used to. So that is what it has made very convenient. So here, just I was trying to give you an overview that how what is the difference between Python and the other language. From tomorrow, what we are going to do is that we are going to start with the data types. From Monday, not tomorrow, it's a Saturday and Sunday. From Monday, we are going to have our regular classes. I hope before that everyone downloads the environment. Just when you're free time, it's a Saturday and Sunday, it's a weekend. Just what I would suggest you is that before you could start, for the reference purpose, you just go through this step 8 part. Step 8 is nothing but a guideline book that how do you write a programming code. So go to the step 8. So this is and click on it and you'll find the guidelines. This is a guideline that how do you need to do a programming code. Okay, got it? Yes, everyone in the classroom.
Yes.
I was not able to hear. Okay. All right. So we'll stop over here. And from the Monday, we'll have the regular classes. We'll start with the beginning. We'll start with from ABCD of the language. Okay. In a proper and a systematic way. Okay. Meanwhile, you go through Pepper. If you have any questions, anything, you can just let me know on during this weekends. But from Monday, from 8 p.m. sharply, we're going to start with the classes. And we're going to start with the ABCD of the language.
Sure.
Okay.
So, is it possible to
Before
get
we
a recording of today's class?
Yes, sir. Sure. I'll speak to them. You can take it from them. Not a problem. Okay. I have downloaded
Thank you.
today's session. You can take it from there. Okay. Not a
Thank you.
problem. So, any questions before we could wrap up for the day? Okay, I
Thank
guess if you don't have any questions, then okay, so we'll call it a day then. And from Monday, as I said, we'll start with the ABCD. We are going to come to the proper way of learning. From there, we are going to have the next. We are going to continue for the next 4 months. Okay, so even if you do, that's okay. If you don't know the programming language, I'm going to concentrate on the same thing. So not to worry, we are going to learn it from the ABCD. Okay, just I showed you that to make you understand what is Python and what is other programming language. I tell you, when I started learning Python, I never felt so much in love with the computer language. I always used to ask myself, why did I choose IT? But when I came to Python language, I felt in love that okay, whatever I have spent my entire life till today was all worth it. Because it's such a beautiful language to write and code because you don't have to spend a lot of time and efforts and energy into the coding part. Because it's very simple. You just need to, it's like a data entry operator job. Just click on right typing the thing. But the thing is that you need to apply a logic. And that is what you get paid into the company for applying the logic. I am working in IBM. I get paid because I apply the logic. So it's the same thing. But at the end, it's your own skill. How do you apply the logic? But I'll just give you a proper syntax. I'll tell you how. I'll just create your roadmap to be a data scientist, machine learning engineer, data engineer, whatever the engineer you want to be after the completion of the course. Okay. All right. So we'll stop over here. Okay, Salman sir, I'll inform the concerned person. Okay. So you'll get the access to the recording. So you can find it from there.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So welcome. Bro. So we'll stop over here. If anyone doesn't have a question, and we'll meet on Monday and we'll have a regular class starting from ABCD. Okay. All right. So everyone, thank you so much and have a good day ahead. Okay. Bye bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Welcome.